guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little discussion on my weight loss journey because I don't think this is something that I've spoken about quite a lot on my YouTube channel and also on the podcast. I know that I've posted like a few before and afters, but I've never really gone into detail about anything on my weight loss journey and where I'm currently at the moment. So I have been a size 8 for just over 2 years now. And just to put that into perspective, before I was a size 16, even maybe pushing size 18, which is very, very disgusting to say. I currently think that I am between a size 8 to 10, but the skinniest that I've ever been, which was summer of last year when I was really like on job, was a size 6. So yeah, I was very overweight, and I feel like, you know, sometimes when you were a bigger girl, until you actually see pictures of yourself or you look at stuff, you actually don't think like, oh my god, I was actually that big or I was that fat. And it's only until like my family will show me like pictures or something pops up in like my Snapchat memories, I was like, oh, I was really that fat, and I'm just a bit like, oh, I don't know, but I feel like I've come such a long way from that. When I first started my fitness journey, it was kind of me, myself, so I was like doing stuff like walking, and just calorie counting. I think I went through a drastic change where I was only eating like 1,200 calories to 1,000 calories, even though that's really not good, a day. And I think that helped me lose quite a bit of my fat, but as a whole, from where I really started to see like a lot of change in my body, I think was when I was a bit more consistent eating. Right now, as I'm currently recording this video, my eating is just not in order. I'd probably say over the past week I've tried to get back into the swing of things a little bit because I've not been going gym consistently for the past like 2.5 months, which is why I've recorded this YouTube video. But yeah, last year we did High Rocks. High Rocks was end of October, and I'd probably say training up to that is the most like fittest I've ever been, like in terms of fitness wise and stuff like that, because I was going kickboxing, I was running, like I could run 10k on the weekend and I'll be fine, whereas before I couldn't run or do anything like that. And then also I feel like when I was eating properly and taking into account like what amount of protein I was eating, that's when I seen the biggest change in my body, because I feel like I am someone where if I stop eating properly, I just put on loads of fat and I look very jiggly, and I'm like, where's this come from, even though like calories and stuff. So I feel like when I was eating protein and high protein meals, less snacking, also because I was full, like I'm eating 3 eggs for breakfast and chicken sausages and something else, like that was when I seen the most shape in my body. But I feel like if I was to start again, I'd probably say like the way that I did it. So obviously I went to walking and going to the gym, but I was only really using like the cardio machines, like the treadmill, cross trainer I think it's called, and all of that kind of stuff. And then eventually I got a PT. So in 2024, the beginning of that, I was paying for a PT and I was paying for a therapist at the same time, and I feel like that hand in hand really had a positive benefit for me. And then what happened after that? I think I just stopped PTing and carried on with gym myself, but I was in a lot more of community events, so like going to a lot more classes for women, like boxing classes, gym classes, kickboxing classes, like any kind of fitness class I would go to. And I feel like the past 2 months of me falling off is because I've not really been surrounded by that community a lot. And I feel like obviously for me eating, it was always like to do with my mental health, or like when I'm emotionally going through something, like I'd comfort eat and stuff like that. That's the reason why I think I was so big previously. But yeah, I feel like at the minute, I think it's really hard to get into things. And also it's like if you were big before, it's like the way that I'm looking at myself in like size 10, or knowing that I've put on fat since last year, bearing in mind I was a size 6 last year, which is the skinniest I've ever been, I still felt like there was fat on me, if that makes sense. So I feel like even though you do lose weight, I've constantly been in this cycle of like a brain process of still always thinking that I'm bigger. And I think when you see that change, or you see like family members see that change, like even my mum and my sister at the minute, they've been like, oh, you have put on a little bit of weight and stuff. But I think that's been the case of me not being consistent with gym again. But I think overall it did really, really make me feel a lot better when I was consistent and I was doing those things. But I think it's just community, like that aspect of not being alone, having gym friends, going to events and stuff like that. It did really, really help me, and that's what I'm trying to get back into. But as I was saying to my friend this week, I always feel like on my weight loss journey, the reason why I made so much progress is because that was my sole focus. Like, that was my focus. I wasn't focused on work, I wasn't focused really on progressing anything. But then when you bring in other things like work, content, this, that, it's like, do I go to the gym today, or do I schedule content? Do I this, or do I? So I feel like I've really been struggling over the past probably like 6 months to get into a proper routine with it. But I definitely decided that I'm going to go back kickboxing again, because I stopped since October because we was paying for that much stuff, and I was like, do I actually need to be spending an extra £50 a month on my kickboxing when I'm actually not going? And then for some reason, once I stopped High Rocks, I just never went back, and I was like, why? So yeah, that was that. But I also feel like when it comes to the eating side of things, I really struggle, because obviously previously I was living alone. Since moving back into my mum's, like being in the house around food constantly as well, I think that's quite triggering, because when I was, let's say, by myself or in my own house, I just wouldn't buy it, and I just had the discipline that I wouldn't buy it, because if it was in the house I knew I would eat it. Whereas living back home with my family, and there constantly being stuff, food, snacks, chocolate and all of that in the house, it's like today I've walked in, even though I've been to a fitness class, like my sister, she's got like a milky bar of white chocolate and broke myself like 2 pieces off. If I was at home, that wouldn't be at home, so I wouldn't eat it. So I think it's like, it's been a good thing and it's been a bad thing, because obviously I've fallen back into the cycle of putting on a bit more weight. Like my body fat percentage has definitely gone up. Last year, when I last measured myself, it was 23, and my goal this year is to get it to 21, because apparently when you get to 21, that's when you can start seeing abs, so that's what I wanted. We're probably on about 27 or something like that, because it's been Christmas and stuff. But yeah, I just feel like it was probably also a good thing, because now I need to also build discipline being here. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's not a good enough excuse that, oh, because it's in the house and stuff like that, like it's easier. But I feel like once you get onto the journey of fitness and losing weight and all of that kind of thing, it becomes like very addictive, and I think I've got quite addictive personality in that sense. So I feel like I need to just get back into it and focus on everything. But I feel like also when I was being really consistent, I was getting up every day at 5 a.m. That's the only way for me to stay consistent on gym and find the time to actually exercise on top of work and everything else, building a business, starting a podcast, all of that kind of stuff. Like, it is a lot. But I definitely feel like the main tips that have helped me, as in like small habits, is drinking water, number one. Like, when I drink water, I feel fuller, but also I'm not drinking as much crap, and I feel like that water weight is so easy to lose as well, especially if you like sweat it out, go in the sauna, go for a run, whatever else. I think meal prepping, that was the biggest thing. I feel like I've been able to maintain it, because although I kind of fall out of phases, like probably in the past month, I've not really meal prepped at all, but even still then I will take breakfast and lunch to work, even though it might not be the best thing at the moment. But before, when I was meal prepping, every Friday when I had my Friday routine, getting into the swing of things, doing a little food shop, coming home, doing my meal prep, all of that, and popping it in the fridge, that was really, really helpful, and I'll definitely recommend that, just because if it's already there and prepped, it's so much easier to just eat it. Whereas when you don't have something that's thought out about and stuff, like I'll just go and eat shit. Like, I work across the road from a McDonald's, I will just go to McDonald's on my lunch break and get a wrap of the day, which isn't really filling, and then I'll probably get something else afterwards, and then I'm having, God knows how many coffees and whatever else. Like, it's just a really, really big cycle. So I'd definitely say meal prepping, drinking water, and steps. I feel like walking and your step count is really, really like underrated. That's the word, underrated. But I feel like where I used to work, I would walk to and from to the gym. So that was like 2,000 steps there, 2,000 steps back, so that's 4,000 steps on top of everything that I did. But yeah, I'm not really someone that's ever said like, oh, I'm gonna walk 10k steps every day and be consistent, but 7k steps I feel like was very achievable for me. I think going through winter as well, 7k steps is probably better, but making sure that I do work out and do go for a run and do those things. But definitely in summer, like 10-12k steps, I prefer it because I like to have it stacked. So if I say I need to read a podcast or clean or do something, like I just prefer to be active or go and listen to a podcast and go for a walk rather than sitting down and being in my bedroom, that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of anything else. I'd probably say protein as well. I think like when you hear everyone and they're all about protein this and protein that, you're thinking, what the hell? Like I did the test thing and whatever else, and I'm meant to be eating 120 grams of protein for what I want to be. And I think that was a bit of a mind fuck to begin with, because I'd gone from saying like, okay, I'm eating 1,200 calories to now you've got to eat this much protein, which is like an extra 500-600 calories a day. That was just very hard, and also I feel like your brain mentally feels toxic. But I think eating high protein meals and low calorie is definitely it. But once I had started eating more protein, that's when I seen the most change in my body. So I'll definitely get on that. Like before, I never used to even eat eggs. Like I hate eggs. I started eating scrambled eggs, protein, eating more meat and stuff, but it can get very costly. So I'd even recommend you getting stuff like if you eat chickpeas, if you eat lentils, like I've made a lentil salad, chickpea curries, like those kind of things really do make a big difference. What else would I say? I feel like personally I've gone through a lot in those past 2 years of actually like mentally becoming this version of myself, because I feel like who I am now, I'm not fully there yet. I'd probably say I'm about 65-70% there of the way that I want to physically look. But I think it's just a mental change. Like I look at pictures of myself and I'm like, I don't even recognise who that is. Like what in the diabetes was going on? Like my whole face, obviously you can see I've got more of a defined jaw. It's literally like, so yeah, when I look back at myself I'm like, no. And I think also that, not that I've like deleted all the pictures, but I kind of like browse through those pictures from time to time to remind myself of like, I know, okay, we're not getting out of hand again, like we need to do this or we need to go on walks and stuff like that. And I feel like once you surround yourself with that community, gym community, fitness community, it's like if you disappear for a while, people start asking questions like, where have you been? Why you not come back? Where are you? That kind of thing. So it's like you instantly get sucked in. But on the opposite side of that, I feel like I've also created this really toxic relationship where it's like I'm constantly thinking about what we're going to eat next, or how many calories is this, or how many, like that doesn't go. It just becomes more frequent that you have those kind of thoughts. And I feel like once you start, your goal is always being raised. So obviously my goal before was to be like a size 10, reach that, size 8, size 6. Now it's not even about sizes, it's about body fat percentage. Then from body fat percentage, it's about this. So, do you get what I mean? Like it's constantly being raised. So I feel like that's also something. And I feel like half the time I don't really appreciate how far I have come. And I feel like I'm really hard on myself majority of the time because of that. And sometimes I just need to be a little bit kinder to myself, but also start demanding more of myself, because if I can reach 21% body fat, which I will do because I'm going to sign myself up for some mad shit like half a marathon, going back to boxing, like all of these things, I've got no excuses. But that just also means I've got to have the discipline to wake up 5 a.m. majority of the days, and on weekends, like one weekend out of the month, see my friends and do stuff. The rest of the weekends I'm going to have to dedicate to podcast content, this, that. So part of me has been fighting that a little bit for the level of discipline that I need, because I've done it previously, but it's like, it's nice and I love it and I appreciate the journey and I appreciate self-care and pouring into myself, but at the same time it's like, it is a bit exhausting. Do you get what I mean? And I feel like my problem with consistency is now being more consistent throughout the months, rather than having one really good month or one really good week and then one really shit week. Because I'd probably say like last year there was 9 good months, and then after October that's when it kind of went downhill. We're in February now. I've only just started to get back on things, but now it's like being consistent for the rest of the year, even if that does mean I have 2 days break, 4 days break, but being more consistent every week and showing up and holding myself accountable, like that is just something else I'm gonna have to develop and have. But yeah, that's been my weight loss journey for the past 2 years. It has been very like up and down and round and around, but I feel like I'm very blessed for the journey and also getting to know myself and pushing myself, because I'm someone like, I'm very strong-minded, so if I think that I can do something, I will try to do it and put my best into it. And I feel like fitness is the best form of self-discipline, and it's the best form of self-love, because you wake up every day and once you've done it, you're like, yeah, I've done that. Do you get what I mean? So I feel like, yeah, it's the best thing, and I really hope that this year I am consistent with everything, because I feel like I've been doing a really good job previously, and it's only certain times I let myself down. 9 times out of 10 it's due to emotional stuff, family stuff, stress, that kind of stuff. But yeah, just being bigger and better, because I feel like I owe it to myself to see how far we can go, and like that vision of myself in my head, like I really want her to come true. Do you know what I mean? Like that vision, goal, body, everything, and just myself, like even the way that I carry myself, it's completely changed, and I feel like I really love my growth and love myself for that. But behind the scenes of building that, it's a very boring, day-to-day, mundane. I say day-to-day because I do enjoy it and I do have fun with it, but it's just very routine. But this year the biggest thing for me is going to be my routine and getting back on top. And I'm so glad, like even this week, I'm so glad that I've done 4 times. I've gone to the gym or done an exercise class like next week, and that needs to be 5, and like increase it again and again and again, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave this episode, well not episode because not a podcast, this YouTube video for now. I think I might go into a bit deeper and share like my fitness journey, or might start doing fitness vlogs or that kind of thing, so make sure you follow along for the journey. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video, guys. See you later. Bye bye.